Since Pakistan's presses are mainly imported, ordinary wheels and rails are also very expensive. In order to make every car owner affordable, they use steel plates to speed up the wheels and rails. After the high-end buried Fox welding process, the wheels and rails of the same model can actually be used. The scrapped wheels and rails recycled by the scrapyard are the protagonists of their small workshop renovation and transformation. The quality of the pipe wheels and rails is very new, and the entire width does not meet the requirements of the road roller. In order to combine the wheels and rails with wide tread tires, the wheels and rails must first be fixed on the rotating row and completely clamped and fixed by bolts. The main purpose is to facilitate the removal. There is a solution that divides the wheel and rail into two and widens it in the middle. The cutting of this wheel and rail must be kept straight, which is also the reason why they do not adhere to the second gap. Once the deviation will cause the subsequent wheel and rail to lose the edge. At this time, after cutting with high-end auxiliary equipment, the extension part has been successfully cut off. The end face of the second gap cutting will be very rough, which will also affect the subsequent steel plate docking. The flat parts need to be grinded with an angle grinder to ensure that there is no burr left on the cut surface. Grind out the groove to facilitate welding. Different types of wheels and rails have different uses. The inner wheel mesh part needs to be separated from the wheel rim so that it can be replaced separately later. This kind of large-scale mechanical equipment is very heavy. In order to prevent the widened wheel and rail from being unable to bear the load, we also directly use thickened steel plates so that the strength of the widened wheel and rail will not decrease. Then use the roller to shape the steel plate. The data of the original car is used as the processing basis. The steel plate is bent into a ring with the same inner diameter. When the bent edges are completely overlapped, the outer diameter of the plate is qualified. Then it is docked with the original wheel edge for testing. The edges are fixed by spot welding through air bow welding. If the length of the steel plate is not calculated accurately, Fu can also use the grinding machine to accurately cut and adjust it. After confirming that the added steel plate will not shift, the outer rim is very easy to connect. When the edges fit tightly, it can be directly welded and fixed. Although the current wheel frame has become a hole, the strength does not meet the use standard. In order to make the joint gap weld more beautiful, the high-speed rotation can completely cover the hanba, which can not only reduce the difficulty of welding, but also improve the welding efficiency. Obviously, ordinary welding will still have air holes. When the inside of the tire needs to be completely sealed, we must use the buried paste welding with good air tightness. When the welding sand is uniformly released from the discharge port, the welding wire on the other side will also be consumed synchronously. The arc of the electric nozzle can completely weld the gap. After the arc high temperature period, it melts and forms this high-density, air-free welded 8. Although their small workshop is relatively simple, the quality of the products is extremely high. After 10 minutes of welding, the inner side of the has been sealed and covered by the welding torch, so the widening of the wheel rim is over. Then use the cut wheel net to bind the edge and embed the new one into the inner side of the wheel edge. When the two data fit perfectly, you can only use the wolf head to knock repeatedly until the internal angle is completely vertical. For this kind of welding without air tightness requirements, only ordinary welding rod welding and reinforcement are needed. At this time, the widened wheel track has been fully formed, making the modified wheel track more beautiful. Need to spray anti-old machine can completely cover the welding marks and prevent rust from appearing in future use. The wheel track of the Yalu chicken has been modified. This is really amazing. The Pakistani master's exquisite craftsmanship is praised.